Extramarital affairs are quietly accepted by society. In France, cheating isn't the relationship destroyer you might think it is. Since 1975, French law has decriminalized adultery, and divorces rarely use affairs as the main reason for separation. The most famous example is former President François Mitterrand, who maintained two families for decades. His wife and his mistress both attended his funeral, and the French still admired him. When the press tried to dig deeper, he simply said, "Personal life does not belong to the press." According to a survey, nearly 50% of French people admitted to having cheated at least once. French women have the second highest cheating rate in Europe, just after Germany. This isn't scandalous behavior. It's seen as a mature view of relationships where love doesn't mean ownership. In intellectual circles in Paris and Lyon, many couples quietly accept open relationships as long as there's respect and shared family responsibility. Discreet dating apps for married people operate smoothly without causing the social upheaval they would in other countries. Not wearing clothes is a form of respect. In southern France, especially in Provence and along the coast, body freedom isn't cultural shock. It's a respected and highly organized lifestyle. France now has over 460 legal naturist resorts, including entire villages, seaside resorts, and family camps. At famous spas like certain thermal baths, total liberation in communal saunas is mandatory. If you try to wear a swimsuit, you'll be reminded to remove it. Not because it's indecent, but because it violates the natural purity culture of the space. To prevent abuse, naturist resorts have extremely strict rules. Any sexual, provocative, or inappropriate behavior results in immediate expulsion with no refund. This policy is enforced by most naturist resorts. The philosophy is about connecting with nature and erasing body discrimination, not about anything sexual. Respect or too weird? Comment yes if you try it, no if never. The unspoken rules for winning over a French woman. Forget everything you've seen in Hollywood movies about French romance. If you think French women want to be swept off their feet with cheesy compliments and grand gestures, you're dead wrong. French women don't like to be won over. They want to be discovered and admired through intellectual connection. According to a 2023 survey, most French women aged 25 to 40 said they don't like obvious pursuit but prefer natural, intellectual, and slightly challenging interactions. This means no cliches like, "You're so beautiful," or "I love your smile." Instead, ask about the book she's reading or bring up a current event. Love in France is a dance of the mind, not a chase of emotions. Don't show Hollywood-style chivalry like pulling out chairs or paying the entire bill. French women prefer equality and sharing. They want to feel like you're talking to an equal, not pampering a princess. The attractive man in France is one who keeps some mystery, listens well, and doesn't need to win to feel valuable. What do you think of these rules? Want to learn more about French women's strengths or tips to win their hearts? Comment below and we'll share more. Speaking English is forbidden in France, especially in Paris. If you walk into a cafe and start with "Hi, do you speak English?" Don't be surprised if you get a cold stare or deliberate silence. It's not about being unfriendly. You've just broken a cultural taboo by disrespecting the French language. Nearly 40% of French people can communicate in English, with even higher rates among young people in big cities. But speaking English doesn't mean they like using it. In France, language isn't just a tool, it's national identity. Speaking French on French soil is a way to show cultural pride. Many people admit to pretending not to understand English if they feel disrespected by foreign cultural pressure. France has a law called Loi tout bon, requiring all official documents, advertisements, packaging, and websites to use French, even for foreign companies. In rural areas, you'll see signs saying, "Please speak French," not to chase tourists away, but to remind visitors they're in a culture fiercely protected by love and pride. If these stories opened your eyes to a new side of France and helped you learn something new, make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more fascinating discoveries like this one. Strange wedding rituals for eternal happiness. In rural parts of France, especially Burgundy, people believe that if a cat sneezes near the bride on her wedding day, it's a sign of good luck. This belief has existed since at least the 17th century and still appears in traditional rural weddings. Cats are thought to guard the boundary between the spirit world and the living. So their sneeze on the wedding day chases away bad luck and awakens good fortune. Some rituals require the bride to stand near a cat for about 3 minutes. And if she hears a sneeze, She should smile because she's about to have a happy marriage. At a wedding in the small town of Saint-Nazaire, the bride made the whole hall cheer when her house cat sneezed just as she walked down the aisle. Some classic rural French weddings still feature the bride's family secretly placing a cat in a basket near the ceremony as a living charm. And if you think that's surprising in a nation, there's even a custom where a woman sleeps with several men and then chooses the strongest one to marry. Shocking as it sounds, it's a real practice. Click the link at the top corner of the screen or the one pinned in the comments to watch. And don't forget to come back, because in the next part, I'll reveal how not to offend anyone after a meal with the French. Never split the bill at intimate dinners. This is a cultural rule that catches many tourists off guard. If you finish a cozy dinner with French friends and pull out your phone to split the bill, you've just broken one of the most important social rules in French culture. In France, especially at intimate meals, splitting the bill is considered calculating and too practical, often attributed to Americans or inexperienced tourists. Traditionally, the inviter pays, or both parties quietly take turns paying on different occasions. Many French people say they've quietly ended relationships with someone who split the bill on the first date. The French feel uncomfortable when forced to divide a bill in detail at a friendly meal, because it breaks the elegance and generosity that are the soul of French dining culture. Don't dress too casually. If you think you can throw on a t-shirt and flip-flops to go out in France, you've probably never set foot in Paris, where every street feels like an impromptu fashion show and locals are models who are never off duty. The French believe that how you dress reflects how you respect yourself and society. According to a 2020 L'Express style survey, 82% of French people judge others' first impressions by their clothes. At school, work, or even just grabbing morning bread, nobody steps out in wrinkled clothes, sweatpants, or sleep hoodies. The special thing is that the French don't need designer brands. They chase good taste, not logos. A simple shirt, well-fitted jeans, polished leather shoes, and neatly styled hair are enough. How about you? Are you on Team Polished or Team Comfort first? Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Don't pick up seashells at some beaches. You might think picking up seashells as beach souvenirs is normal, even romantic. In France, absolutely not. At many famous beaches like Corsica, Cap Ferret, and Provence, collecting seashells, snail shells, or any piece of nature can get you fined up to more than $600. Those shells aren't just decorations or natural debris. They provide homes for microorganisms, crabs, and seabirds, and play a key role in preventing beach erosion. Taking them away may seem harmless, but it actually disrupts fragile ecosystems that depend on these natural materials. Many tourists are surprised when asked to open their bags at airports and fined on the spot for carrying shells. On Corsica, where conservation laws are especially strict, even picking up pebbles can lead to penalties. In protected zones, removing sand, small rocks, or pebbles is banned because every element on the beach is considered part of the environment's shared heritage, not personal property. In France, the message is simple: admire nature, enjoy it, but leave it exactly as you found it. A village with a mosquito ban. Here's one of the most absurd yet charming stories from France. In the village of Briolet in western France, there was once an official ban on mosquitoes flying into its territory. In the summer of 2018, when mosquitoes flooded the region, the mayor signed a one-of-a-kind decree with Article 2 reading, "Mosquitoes are prohibited from entering the village's territory." Of course, no mosquito could read the official bulletin, but the decision instantly turned Briolet into a media hotspot. Newspapers across Europe reported it. Curious tourists visited just to take pictures of the sign. And residents proudly told stories of our village having a mosquito protection law. 2.5 weeks later, the mosquito population dropped noticeably. The mayor candidly admitted that the credit didn't go to the legendary decree, but rather to a practical mosquito control campaign, involving draining stagnant water and addressing environmental conditions. Still, the mosquito ban lives on as a humorous symbol. Many cafes and stores in the village put up signs saying, "Safe Zone, no mosquitoes," as a quirky way to greet visitors. This perfectly captures the French ability to turn bureaucracy into entertainment. An island that changes nationality twice a year. There's only one place in the world where nationality automatically changes every 6 months with no need for passports, immigration, or anyone leaving or arriving. The strange thing is, no one lives there. That place is Ile des Faisans, or the Isle of the Pheasants. just 6,820 square meters in size, smaller than an NFL football field. This island has no residents, no buildings, no phone signal. And importantly, no one is allowed to stay overnight, camp, or hold weddings. But what makes this place unique on the world map is its changing ruling nationality every 6 months with no borders and no passport checks. From February 1st to July 31st, the island belongs to Spain. From August 1st to January 31st, it becomes French territory. The transfer happens regularly with military and administrative representatives from both countries. Without fireworks or parades, just a handshake representing over 350 years of peace. In the 17th century, this island was the site of a historic meeting between Louis XIV of France and Philip IV of Spain to discuss royal marriages. Today, you can view the island from the International Bridge crossing the Bidasoa River, where it looks like a quiet leaf floating between two cultures. It's the world's most peaceful example of shared sovereignty. Type number 1 in the comments if this island just made it onto your travel bucket list. Don't eat while walking. In the country considered the cradle of world cuisine, eating isn't just a biological need. It's a social ritual, and that ritual never happens on the street. The idea of eating while walking barely exists in France because, to locals, it's uncivilized, rushed, and ruins the enjoyment of food. If you walk down the street munching bread, people will look at you like you're running from culture. Eating requires a table, a chair, time, and preferably friends. It goes further than this. Bringing outside food into restaurants or cafes is considered absolutely rude. Not booking a table during peak hours can leave you waiting outside for hours. And asking to customize a dish to your taste is taboo, seen as an insult to the chef and the spirit of traditional cuisine. French dining expects you to eat slowly, savor, and respect every detail, from the crunch of the bread to the aftertaste of the sauce. This cultural rule extends to all food consumption. Even grabbing a quick sandwich is done standing at a counter in a cafe, not while walking to your destination. The French see eating as a moment of pause and appreciation, not something to multitask with transportation. The government pays you to ride a bike. France is the only country in the world where the government literally pays you to ride a bike to work. Through an initiative known as the Vélo Boulot program, which translates roughly to bike to work. French citizens can earn about 27 cents per kilometer simply by cycling to their workplace instead of driving. That might not sound like much at first, but for someone who lives around 8 kilometers from their office and bikes every day, it can add up to nearly $100 per month in extra income. All while staying fit and reducing carbon emissions. But the French government's cycling support doesn't stop there. Those who choose to buy electric bicycles receive generous subsidies, with financial assistance of up to $650 toward the purchase of a new e-bike. This effort is part of a broader plan to make cycling not just an environmentally friendly option, but also an economically rewarding one. In many major French cities such as Strasbourg, Bordeaux, and Nantes, cycling has become an integral part of daily life. It's not just an alternative mode of transportation. It's part of the urban identity. Dedicated bike highways, or autoroute cyclables, run through several metropolitan areas, equipped with rest stops, self-service tire pumps, and specialized traffic cameras designed exclusively for cyclists. In Strasbourg, often hailed as the bike capital of France, more than 16% of residents commute by bicycle every single day. The city even funds a 24-hour public bike repair service, ensuring that minor issues never stop anyone from riding. The infrastructure is so advanced that you can bike across the entire city safely without ever needing to merge with car traffic, a luxury that few cities in the world can claim. Strasbourg's success has inspired other French municipalities to follow suit, and today, France boasts one of the most extensive and cyclist-friendly networks in Europe. In fact, when it comes to financial incentives and public investment, France surpasses even famously bike-centric cities like Amsterdam or Copenhagen. Yet, beyond infrastructure and subsidies, the heart of the program lies in its philosophy. Cycling isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle that the government actively rewards. It's a vision of the future where physical health, environmental consciousness, and financial benefit coexist seamlessly. In France, riding your bike doesn't just save the planet, it pays off. Quite literally. How potatoes were once banned in France. Potatoes, a staple food today, were once banned in France because they were believed to be the apple of the devil and the cause of leprosy. In 1748, the French Parliament officially passed a law prohibiting the cultivation of potatoes due to widespread misconceptions. Since they grew underground, weren't mentioned in the Bible, and were often confused with poisonous plants, people feared them. This ban lasted for 24 years. Fortunately, pharmacist Antoine-Augustin Parmentier changed everything. During his imprisonment in Prussia, he was forced to eat potatoes and discovered their nutritional value. Even after the ban was lifted in 1772, French people remained skeptical. Parmentier came up with a brilliant psychological strategy. He asked King Louis XVIII for a royal plot of land to plant potatoes and had soldiers guard it strictly during the day but withdraw at night. Seeing something so heavily guarded, curious French people thought it must be valuable. So they secretly stole the potatoes and grew them themselves. Thanks to this clever pretend indifference tactic, potatoes quickly spread and became a staple food in France. Today, many potato dishes still bear his name and honor. For example, hachis parmentier. This story shows how psychology can overcome cultural prejudice. Rent a castle for just $20. In France, you can truly live like a 17th century nobleman for just $20 a night. In the peaceful Burgundy region, Château de Barnet welcomes guests for around $20 per person per night, cheaper than a budget hotel room in New York, yet offering the chance to sleep inside real history. En Provence, Château de Siron combines ancient charm with Mediterranean beauty. Surrounded by lavender gardens and vineyards, guests can enjoy local wines and sunset views for only $25 to $30 per person. For something a bit grander, Château Saint-Paterne in the Loire Valley, once home to French aristocrats, offers rooms filled with antique furniture and includes breakfast for about $40 to $60 per person. What makes this even more special is that many of these castles are still owned by descendants of noble families. They rent them out at low prices to help preserve their heritage. Guests often get full access to the gardens, living rooms, and fireplaces, and sometimes even hold the main keys to the castle. Many of these estates offer royal experiences, from private chefs and wine tastings in 300-year-old cellars to guides dressed in period clothing. In France, a luxury getaway isn't just about 5 stars, it's about 5 centuries. You don't just stay in a castle, you live inside history itself. Delicious foods and eating like the French. French cuisine is where cheese has a birth certificate, and breakfast can be cooked with wine. France is a culinary heaven for unusual delicacies. Each slice of Camembert or Roquefort cheese has a clear origin story of the type of milk, the aging process, even the kind of grass the cow ate. The French love cheese and are proud of the taste heritage of their land. What's special is that the French often eat cheese instead of dessert, leaving many Americans puzzled when they don't find crème brûlée at the end of a meal. The baguette was originally designed for Napoleon's soldiers to tuck neatly into their long coats, slender and requiring no special tool to separate pieces. Some traditional bakeries in Paris only bake one type of bread each morning. If you come late, you'll have to wait until the next day. Escargots, or snails, represent the pinnacle of strange but proud cuisine. The snails are specially raised and fed herbal powder to make their meat flavorful, then cooked with garlic butter and herbs. Every year, at the Fête de l'Escargot Festival, people compete to see who can eat the most snails. In small villages near Bordeaux, you can buy wine from vending machines like at gas stations, but these are stocked with quality Merlot and Cabernet. This perfectly captures how wine is woven into daily French life, not just reserved for special occasions. These 15 facts reveal that France is far more complex and fascinating than the romantic stereotypes suggest. From government-paid cycling to banned potatoes, from clothing etiquette to relationship norms, France operates by cultural rules that often contradict what the outside world expects. Understanding these hidden aspects of French culture helps explain why France remains one of the most influential yet misunderstood countries in the world. These aren't just quirky trivia facts. They're windows into a society that values tradition, intellectual discourse, and cultural preservation above convenience or global conformity. The next time you visit France or interact with French culture, remember that beneath the surface of croissants and Eiffel Tower postcards lies a nation with centuries of unique customs, surprising laws, and social norms that continue to shape how millions of people live their daily lives. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Have you experienced any of these cultural differences firsthand during visits to France? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every comment and love hearing about your cultural discoveries. If you want to learn more shocking facts about other countries around the world, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching. A European country where every drop of water you drink comes from the ocean, where an entire village was built just to film a cartoon, and where dating doesn't even start until after 9 p.m. because that's when the real magic of the Mediterranean begins. Dating Malta women, a whole different experience. Dating in Malta operates on rules that would seem alien to most of the world, and it starts with timing that will shock you. First dates in Malta rarely happen before 9 p.m. Not 7 p.m., not 8 p.m., but 9 p.m. at the earliest. Because Maltese women believe the Mediterranean is at its absolute best at night. And that's when real stories should begin. The entire culture has embraced this nocturnal approach to romance. It's interesting that Maltese women don't need designer clothes or luxury accessories to make an impression. A simple summer dress and a confident smile are considered the perfect combination. Family plays a central role that goes far beyond what most cultures experience. Meeting the parents isn't just a formality, it's actually a subtle test. And here's something that surprises many foreign men: if you frequently disappear for days because you're busy with work or other commitments, Maltese women will interpret this as a sign that you're not serious about the relationship. Once a Maltese woman trusts you, she'll invite you to village festas where the entire community comes together to eat, dance, and celebrate. This isn't just a party invitation, it's her way of introducing you to her close-knit social circle and seeing how you fit into the broader community fabric. Comment number 1 if late-night Mediterranean dating is your vibe. Fresh water comes entirely from desalinating seawater. Did you know that every single drop of water that flows from a Maltese faucet started its life in the ocean? This isn't an exaggeration or a figure of speech. It's the daily reality of life in Malta. Unlike virtually every other country in the world that relies on rivers, lakes, underground reservoirs, or mountain springs, Malta draws over 60% of its potable water from desalination plants. The remaining 40% comes from collected rainwater and a few rapidly shrinking aquifers. Malta is one of the few countries on Earth where fresh water is literally a high-tech miracle rather than a natural resource. The process involves taking seawater and running it through reverse osmosis systems that strip out salt and impurities, creating clean, drinkable water molecule by molecule. This isn't a recent development either. Malta opened its first desalination plant way back in 1965, making it a pioneer in this technology. Today, the Water Services Corporation operates 3 major plants that work around the clock to meet the island's needs. The reason this system is absolutely necessary becomes clear when you look at the numbers. Malta receives less than 600 millimeters of rainfall per year. To put that in perspective, that's less than half of what cities like London or New York receive annually. Combine minimal rainfall with a dense population, growing tourism, and the complete absence of rivers or lakes, and you get one of the most water-stressed nations in Europe. Yet somehow it works perfectly. The taps don't run dry. The showers stay warm, and most visitors have absolutely no idea they're drinking Mediterranean seawater that's been completely reconstructed through advanced technology. An entire village was built for the Popeye musical. It may sound unbelievable, but a complete seaside town was created just to film a live-action cartoon. In 1980, Paramount Pictures transformed a quiet bay in northwestern Malta into Sweet Haven. The imaginary village featured in the Popeye musical starring Robin Williams. Here's what made it special: the production didn't just build a few backdrops or studio sets. They constructed an actual village with 19 wooden buildings, including a bakery, a school, a post office, and a dock. The timber used for these structures was imported all the way from the Netherlands and Canada. What's even more surprising is that the movie set was never dismantled. It still stands today as Popeye Village, one of Malta's most unusual tourist attractions. Visitors can explore the brightly painted houses, watch live performances, and enjoy boat rides around the bay. This place feels like stepping into a charming time capsule. Most countries take down film sets once production ends, but Malta decided to turn this one into a theme park instead. The most amazing part is that a musical which failed at the box office ended up leaving behind a lasting landmark. Now, it attracts visitors from all over the world. That's the kind of unexpected magic Malta is known for. Before we continue our journey, if you find this content interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss more strange stories from around the world. There are no forests, mountains, or rivers in Malta. Malta is a country with 0 flowing rivers, 0 mountains, and not even a single forest. This sounds absolutely impossible, but it's completely true. Most countries have at least one of these natural features. Malta has none. The entire landscape is flat, rocky, and bone dry for most of the year. The highest point in the entire country, TABOOS, stands at just 253 meters above sea level. That's barely a hill by most standards. Instead of towering trees and lush forests, Malta's terrain is covered in something called garrig low shrubs and hardy herbs that cling to the limestone. The valleys you see aren't carved by flowing rivers, but by ancient rainfalls that have long since dried up. So how does life flourish in such an environment? The Maltese have become absolute masters of adaptation. Agriculture happens in narrow terraced fields that maximize every inch of available soil. Water is preserved using ancient cisterns combined with cutting-edge modern technology. Cities were planned with survival in mind, built into cliffs or fortified with local sandstone. Despite having none of these natural resources that most countries depend on, Malta still ranks extremely high for quality of life, education, and tourism satisfaction. It turns out you don't need rivers to flow or mountains to climb when you have a population that knows how to bend nature to their will. The colorful and musical wedding traditions. Maltese weddings are unlike anything you've experienced elsewhere in Europe, and they start before the couple even reaches the church. The bride and groom don't simply drive to the church in a quiet car. Instead, they're accompanied by a group of local musicians and singers who walk alongside them through the streets, performing songs that celebrate love and offer blessings for their union. But the most memorable moment happens as the couple exits the church after saying their vows. According to a tradition that dates back centuries, wedding guests perform a symbolic ritual by throwing seeds, nuts, and wheat toward the newlyweds. This isn't just for show. Each item has specific meaning. The seeds represent fertility. The nuts symbolize abundance, and the wheat represents a fruitful harvest ahead. This creates an incredibly lively and heartwarming scene that sets Maltese weddings apart from the more restrained ceremonies common in modern Western culture. The entire celebration becomes a community blessing, with everyone actively participating and wishing the couple prosperity, happiness, and a flourishing marriage. What do you think about this lively wedding tradition? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The unique fat pole tradition in Malta. In Malta, there is a unique and entertaining tradition called Gostra, considered one of the most unusual in Europe. The event involves a long pole, more than 20 meters in length, positioned at an angle over the sea and coated with lard to make it slippery. Contestants must sprint along the pole, maintain their balance, and try to snatch a flag hanging at its end. Although the concept sounds easy, the reality is far more difficult. Most participants lose their footing after only a few steps, plunging straight into the water. The pole always tilts toward the sea, ensuring that every failed attempt ends with a splash. Gostra is not a modern invention or a casual game. It has been part of Maltese culture for centuries, originating from village festivals that honor patron saints. Each summer, particularly in August, coastal towns like Spinola and Marsaxlokk come alive as their harbors turn into vibrant festival grounds. Participants typically wear shorts and t-shirts, showing off their agility and quick movements. In some areas, organizers have even modified the game by replacing traditional lard with olive oil, giving each year's competition a new level of slipperiness and excitement. The largest vintage car island in the Mediterranean. One fact that many people don't know about Malta is that this small island has nearly as many cars as it has residents. With more than 300,000 registered vehicles and a population of about 450,000, that's around one car for every 1.5 people. It's an impressive number for an island covering just over 316 square kilometers. What makes this even more fascinating isn't only the amount of cars, but the way Maltese people have turned them into symbols of cultural pride. Across Malta, cars from the 1950s and 1960s still glide through the streets, keeping automotive history alive as part of local tradition. Every day, in the old streets of Valletta, Rabat, or Mosta, you can find garages housing classic models like the Ford Escort MK1. Some collectors have offered as much as $60,000 for a vintage Jaguar, yet many owners refuse to sell, choosing to preserve these treasures instead. At the center of this passion is the Old Motors Club Malta, which has more than 200 dedicated members. Each year, the island hosts the Malta Classic, a grand event that transforms the country into a living museum of classic cars. Type 2 if you're a vintage car lover who appreciates this timeless Maltese tradition. The fiery passion for fireworks. If you're planning a peaceful, quiet Mediterranean getaway in Malta, prepare yourself for a shock. The Maltese have an almost obsessive passion for fireworks that goes far beyond anything you've experienced elsewhere. For the Maltese, fireworks aren't just pretty lights in the sky. They're an art form, a deeply rooted tradition, and a heartfelt expression of devotion during village festivals called festa. Throughout the summer months, from June to September, nearly every single week a different village or town hosts its own festa to honor its patron saint. But here's what catches visitors completely off guard. The noise doesn't just come from fireworks exploding in the sky. Ground-level explosions continue throughout the day and night, creating a constant soundtrack of celebration that can be heard for miles. Local fireworks workshops compete fiercely to produce the most impressive and complex displays. They construct massive spinning Catherine wheels, and Malta once held the world record for the largest diameter Catherine wheel ever created. These aren't amateur backyard fireworks. These are professional-grade pyrotechnic displays that rival major city celebrations. The constant explosions, particularly on weekend nights during summer, can be a major culture shock for visitors expecting tranquil Mediterranean evenings. If you're staying near churches or in village centers during festa season, prepare for long nights filled with dazzling displays of sound and light. The harsh Mediterranean climate of Malta. Malta's climate can be brutally harsh, and it's nothing like the gentle, temperate weather many visitors imagine. Malta is famous for having more than 300 sunny days per year, which sounds wonderful for tourism brochures. But the reality of living with that much sun is far more challenging than most people realize. Summers in Malta are long and extremely hot, with temperatures frequently exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, often accompanied by crushing humidity levels. The sun's intensity becomes overwhelming, forcing many people to seek shelter during the middle of the day. This isn't pleasant beach weather, it's survival mode heat that poses real health risk without proper precautions. The humidity makes everything worse. Unlike dry desert heat that you can escape in shade, Malta's humid heat follows you everywhere. Air conditioning isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for basic comfort and health. But the heat is only part of the story. Malta is geographically a dry island nation with annual rainfall of only about 600 millimeters. To put that in perspective, that's less than many desert regions receive. Long dry seasons are the norm, not the exception. This creates a landscape that's far from the lush, green Mediterranean paradise many people envision. Instead, you'll find a limestone island that's often brown and parched, where every drop of water is precious and conservation isn't just environmentally conscious. It's absolutely essential for survival. Would you be able to handle this nation's extreme heat and humidity? Comment yes if you think you could, or no if you'd rather stay somewhere cooler. A paradise for pedestrians. Despite its harsh climate and lack of natural water sources, Malta offers something that will surprise hiking enthusiasts. It's an absolute paradise for pedestrians and walking adventurers. Across the three main islands of Malta, Gozo and Comino, there are numerous trails that wind along dramatic Mediterranean cliffs, through hidden valleys, and led to prehistoric caves that few tourists ever discover. You don't need to be a professional climber or have expensive equipment. A good pair of walking shoes will get you started on extraordinary adventures. On the main island of Malta, there's a spectacular walking path from Dingley Cliffs that offers breathtaking views of vertical limestone cliffs, where turquoise Mediterranean waters crash dramatically at the base. The contrast between the harsh limestone landscape and the brilliant blue sea creates photo opportunities that rival any famous coastline in the world. Moving to Gozo, the path through Via del Gazzari leads you to a narrow inlet that hides a secret swimming spot so quiet and secluded that you'll feel like you're the only person who has ever discovered it. The only sounds are waves gently lapping against ancient rock formations. Comino, famous for the Blue Lagoon, offers rugged trails that take you through landscapes dotted with wild cacti and seasonal wildflowers, leading to unnamed coves where only the most adventurous travelers have ever set foot. The best time for trekking in Malta isn't during the peak summer tourist season when the heat becomes unbearable. The optimal time is after the early autumn rains, when the typically brown landscape transforms completely. Wildflowers bloom across the meadows, turning every walking path into a colorful natural canvas that rivals any botanical garden. A unique mode of transport in Valletta. In Malta, you can witness a sight that surprises many 18th century Carrozzen, traditional horse-drawn carriages, moving alongside modern Tesla taxis and electric streetcars. The rhythmic sound of hoofbeats blends with car horns, creating a unique harmony where two eras meet. Carrozzen are not just tourist attractions. They remain a real part of everyday life for locals. Each carriage has its own license plate, pays taxes, and can even receive parking fines like any modern vehicle. The horses that pull these carriages are well cared for and even get time off. Every year, they are taken to the countryside for 1 or 2 months to rest. Their care includes special meals with oats and coat treatments. Much like a luxury spa for prized animals, many families who drive Carrozzen have done so for 7 or 8 generations. They pass down their knowledge of choosing horses, mastering driving skills, and following an informal set of road rules known only among Carrozzen drivers. Though often unnoticed by tourists, these carriages also hold deep cultural meaning. During religious festivals, they are used to carry statues of saints, turning them into symbols of tradition and faith. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this story is that the government once suggested replacing Carrozzen to reduce pollution. However, local people firmly opposed the idea, choosing instead to preserve this timeless piece of Maltese heritage. Unique nightlife in the Zero, Otukoma capital. Valletta, the capital of Malta, holds the title of the smallest capital city in the European Union, covering less than 1 square kilometer. During the day, it impresses visitors with its ancient fortresses and stone-paved streets. When night falls, however, the focus of activity moves to St. Julian's and the energetic Paceville district. One of the most surprising traditions for newcomers is the sight of small cardboard drink tickets being given out on the streets. At first glance, they seem like ordinary advertisements, but once you see people eagerly collecting them, the truth becomes clear. These tickets offer free or heavily discounted drinks, serving as an open invitation to experience Malta's vibrant nightlife. Under the warm glow of the streetlights, international students often gather on Straight Street. Once known for its sailor bars, it has now become a favorite spot for live music lovers. The small cinemas in Valletta stay open late, sometimes hosting outdoor screenings of classic films, while couples enjoy peaceful walks by the harbor, surrounded by the scent of the sea. In Paceville, the energy is different, louder, busier, and full of movement. Bars overflow with people. Music echoes through narrow alleys and cultures from all over the world mix together. Erasmus students, international DJs, and spontaneous street performers fill the night with energy. Hidden bars carved into old limestone basements, food stalls serving snacks until 4 in the morning, and even small cinemas operating overnight add to the atmosphere. Few outside Malta realize that in Valletta and nearby Paceville, certain streets at night become true meeting points of the world. Tourists, locals, artists, and strangers from distant countries cross paths, creating a rare and unforgettable mix of cultures and stories. The famous Silent City in Malta. In the center of Malta lies Medina, the island's former capital, a place that perfectly deserves its nickname, the Silent City. During the day, groups of visitors walk quietly through its limestone streets, where traffic is almost non-existent. Only residents and a few service vehicles are permitted to enter, keeping the calm atmosphere intact. The city's population is only about 300 people, most of whom live in family homes that have stood for centuries. Medina was once the heart of Malta's noble society, and even now, Some families still reside in ancestral houses that date back to the 15th century. In the mornings, you can often see monks dressed in black robes making their way across the square. When evening arrives, the city remains peaceful, untouched by the noise of car horns or engines. This is daily life for the people who call Mdina home. One of the city's most remarkable customs is the habit of switching off outdoor lights early in the evening. This simple act preserves the calm atmosphere and gives Medina the feeling of a city gently falling asleep, an experience unmatched anywhere else in Europe. If you've ever dreamed of a quiet place to retire, Medina might just be the perfect choice. The Festival of Eating in Malta. Maltese cuisine represents a fascinating blend of Mediterranean influences. But it's the cultural significance of food and the seasonal nature of eating that makes it truly special. Let's start with fennec, rabbit stew known locally as stuffet tal fennec. This dish was once exclusively reserved for nobility during the era of the Knights of St. John. Today, it's become the national dish that Maltese families prepare for special weekend gatherings, representing how democratic Malta's food culture has become. In complete contrast to this elaborate preparation, pasticci represent the soul of Maltese street food. These flaky pastries filled with ricotta cheese or mashed peas are available everywhere and represent the perfect quick meal that connects all social classes. For everyday sustenance, hobjbijjite serves as the national sandwich. Made with traditional Maltese bread and topped with ripe tomatoes, olive oil, tuna, and olives. It's simple perfection that captures the essence of Mediterranean flavors. Seasonal eating plays a crucial role in Maltese culture. During autumn, the waters around Malta become busy with migrating dorado fish, which are used to create the fragrant lampuki pie. This dish is only available from August to December, making it a special seasonal celebration that locals eagerly anticipate each year. Gjebegna, a traditional sheep cheese, carries historical significance that goes beyond nutrition. This cheese was once considered valuable enough to serve as part of marriage dowries in traditional Maltese weddings. Today, it's still served with black pepper or olive oil at celebrations, maintaining its cultural importance. Kinney deserves special mention as Malta's answer to international soft drinks. This bitter orange soda made with local herbs emerged in the 1950s as a direct competitor to Coca-Cola and remains a source of national pride. Its unique flavor profile represents Malta's determination to maintain cultural independence, even in something as simple as soft drinks. Malta, the unintentional stopover for refugees. Malta, a small island nation with a population of just over 500,000 people, has unintentionally become a crucial stop for thousands of refugees traveling across the Mediterranean from North Africa to Europe. Its location lies almost directly between Libya and Italy, which means that overcrowded fishing boats often end up stopping near the island, sometimes only a few nautical miles from its shores. At one point, Malta had the highest ratio of refugees to citizens in the entire European Union. One well-known incident took place in 2013 when a fishing boat carrying more than 200 refugees became stranded near the island, drawing the attention of European leaders and sparking debates across the continent. While political discussions continued between Malta and Italy about who should take responsibility for the arrivals, local people quietly stepped in to help. They offered dry clothes, warm meals, and medical assistance to those in need. Despite covering only 316 square kilometers, Malta operates a dedicated Coast Guard and rescue service that works around the clock. Local fishermen also play a key role in saving lives at sea, acting as everyday heroes in one of the Mediterranean's most challenging humanitarian crossroads. These facts reveal Malta as far more than just another Mediterranean destination. So, the next time someone asks you about unique travel destinations, remember that Malta offers experiences you literally cannot find anywhere else on Earth. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Have you ever experienced anything similar to Malta's unique traditions in your own travels? Let me know in the comments below which fact made you want to visit Malta immediately. And if you've been to Malta, share your own surprising discoveries that other travelers should know about. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible facts about the world's most surprising destinations. And click the notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries about the places that will completely change how you see our world. Slovenia is a small country nestled in the heart of Europe. You can drive across it in just 2 hours, yet it would take a lifetime to uncover all its hidden wonders. Today, Let's discover 15 fascinating facts about Slovenia. Slovenian women. If you think beauty in Eastern Europe is only about appearance, Slovenian women will change your mind. They are not only attractive with their slender figures, thick hair, and bright eyes typical of the Alpine region, but they also reflect a modern European spirit, confident without arrogance, graceful yet friendly, and deeply independent. They have a love for nature and are often seen hiking, kayaking, or cycling through forests. A Slovenian woman might start her morning in a floral dress sipping coffee by the Ljubljana River. Then, by afternoon, she could be climbing Mount Triglav, nearly 10,000 feet high, as if it were effortless. What stands out most is that Slovenian women do not judge based on wealth. They appreciate men who listen, respect personal boundaries, and live with sincerity. Many speak 2 or 3 foreign languages and have strong educational backgrounds, with nearly 60% of university students in Slovenia being women. Yet, they still value honesty, loyalty, and steadiness in love. Preferring real emotional connection over fleeting romance, they are also admired for their homemaking skills, from baking traditional patika walnut rolls to making homemade plum liqueur, all with remarkable care and precision. In daily life, you'll often find them at morning markets, reading in parks, or walking their dogs along peaceful riversides, calm but always noticeable. If you are someone who seeks a relationship built on respect and deep companionship, Slovenian women represent beauty that shines from within as much as it does on the outside. And if you want to know how to approach Slovenian girls, don't hesitate to type number 1. Dragons are real in Slovenia. According to the BBC, Slovenia's Postojna Cave, one of Europe's most famous and extensive karst cave systems, attracts nearly 1 million visitors each year. People come not only for its extraordinary underground scenery, but also for its mysterious resident, the Olm, known as the blind dragon of Europe. The Olm is the only amphibian in Europe that spends its entire life underwater. It can live up to 100 years, with the oldest known reaching 102, but it breeds only once or twice in a decade, making reproduction very rare and valuable for scientific research. In the Postojna Cave research area, scientists have found about 50 to 60 eggs, with several showing developing embryos. Biologist Sasha Welt and his team use infrared equipment and night cameras to monitor every subtle movement of these tiny creatures, a task requiring great patience in total darkness. In 2016, the world witnessed an extraordinary moment when baby Olms successfully hatched in Postojna Cave, marking the first time such an event had been fully documented by humans through both photographs and video. Love Slovenian style. Did you know Slovenia is the only country in the world that has the word love in its name? This is not by accident. For Slovenians, love is deeply connected to life, nature, and long-standing traditions, even down to their cheese. Instead of giving expensive flowers or fancy dinners, shepherds in Velika Planina show affection by giving their loved one a handmade turnich cheese, carefully carved with symbols that represent loyalty and lifelong devotion. Slovenia also celebrates its own version of Valentine's Day, different from February 14th. On March 12th, St. Gregory's Day, people believe that birds begin to pair and marry, marking the arrival of spring and love. In earlier times, young men would sing love songs under the balconies of their sweethearts, and today this romantic scene is still recreated every year at the Bohinj Ethnographic Festival. Weddings in Slovenia are filled with fun and meaningful traditions. Before the groom can reach the bride, he must face a shranga, a playful barrier created by the bride's friends. He must complete a challenge such as singing, dancing, or answering questions about his bride-to-be. Love in Slovenia may not be loud or showy, but it is steady and lasting. The divorce rate is only 23%, much lower than in nearby Croatia 35%, or Austria 41%. Perhaps this is because Slovenians love in a calm, enduring way, just like their mountains, forests, and lakes that surround them. If these stories opened your eyes to a new side of Slovenia and helped you learn something new, make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on more fascinating discoveries like this one. Carrying the bride up 99 steps. If you think weddings are all about beautiful clothes and shiny rings, Slovenia adds a real test of strength to the mix. On Bled Island, the country's only island, surrounded by clear blue water. There is a famous tradition where the groom must carry his bride up 99 stone steps to the Church of the Assumption. He cannot stop or drop her. And only when he completes all 99 steps is their marriage believed to be blessed with happiness and endurance. Each year, more than 500 couples from around the world come to Slovenia just to take part in this love steps ritual. In rural regions such as Styria and Gorenjska, other wedding customs also bring joy and laughter. Sometimes the groom is fooled with a fake bride, or the bride is kidnapped before the ceremony. And the groom must earn her back by singing, dancing, or answering playful questions about their love story. These traditions may seem humorous, but they serve as a heartfelt way for the community to test and celebrate the couple's devotion to each other. And if you think that's surprising, wait until you hear this in a nation. There's even a custom where a woman sleeps with several men and then chooses the strongest one to marry. Shocking as it sounds, it's a real practice. Click the link at the top corner of the screen or the one pinned in the comments to watch, and don't forget to come back, because the next part will reveal even more astonishing facts about Slovenia you've probably never heard before. Festivals and traditions. Every February, the town of Ptuj, Slovenia's oldest city, becomes the lively setting for Kurentovanje, one of Eastern Europe's most vibrant and ancient masquerade festivals with a history of more than 1,000 years. The main attraction features hundreds of kurenti, figures dressed in fur, with masks, horns, and large bells, dancing and making noise to drive away winter and welcome spring. Those who take part often need to prepare in advance because the current costumes can weigh up to 55 pounds. Not far away, in Maribor, Slovenia's second largest city. The Lent Festival takes place every June, drawing over 500,000 visitors. It is the biggest outdoor art festival in Central Europe, offering more than 1,000 performances from opera and jazz to street magic, all set against the beautiful view of the Drava River at sunset. For those who want to experience history come to life, the Škofja Loka Passion Play is one of the few remaining living Bible performances in Europe, held once every 6 years. It involves more than 600 amateur actors reenacting Bible stories along the historic streets of Škofja Loka, and that is just a glimpse across the country. Slovenia celebrates hundreds of festivals each year, from mystical mountain rituals to candlelit concerts near ancient castles. The culture of living in wine cellars. In Slovenia, especially in the Dolenjska region and the eastern areas, there is a unique way of life that fascinates visitors. Instead of dreaming about luxurious houses, many people here long for a zidanica, a small wine cellar house nestled among endless vineyards. At first, zidanicas were simple storage places for tools and barrels of homemade wine. Over the years, they have been transformed into cozy weekend getaways. Today, more than 15,000 zidanicas are scattered across Slovenia's hillsides. Many of them are now fully furnished with kitchens, bedrooms, porches overlooking the vineyards, and their own wine cellars. For Slovenians, leaving the city on weekends to return to their zidanica, pick grapes, cook with family, and drink their own wine has become a signature part of their slow-living lifestyle. Traditionally, most families don't buy wine from stores, they make it themselves. Each grape harvest turns into a small celebration, where friends gather to pick grapes, make wine, and enjoy a shared meal outdoors. Today, some zidanicas are open for visitors to rent, giving travelers a real live like a Slovenian experience. There's no Wi-Fi, no television, just grapes, wine, and quiet countryside peace. A weekend spent among vineyards, making your own wine with your loved ones. Would you like to try it? Comment yes if this is your dream getaway. Ljubljana, the car-free capital of Europe. Imagine a European capital where the streets are not filled with car horns or engine noise, but with church bells, friendly chatter, and the gentle sound of coffee cups clinking together. That is Ljubljana, the city that changed urban life by turning its entire historic center into a car-free zone for pedestrians and cyclists. In 2016, Ljubljana was named Europe's Green Capital, thanks to a bold step taken in 2008 to remove cars from the city center. Private vehicles were completely banned from the Old Town and the scenic Ljubljanica River area. Since then, the city has become calm, clean, and peaceful, with no more traffic jams. Now, the center of Ljubljana is a paradise for walkers and visitors who can enjoy the elegant buildings. stroll along the riverside, and relax at charming cafes. The city also has an extensive network of bike paths and a public bike rental program called Bike-LJ, encouraging both locals and tourists to travel in environmentally friendly ways. Except for buses and a few delivery vehicles, private cars are almost never seen. To help everyone get around easily, the city provides free electric taxis called Cavalier for seniors, people with disabilities, and parents with small children. Thanks to this policy, Ljubljana has greatly reduced noise and air pollution while boosting tourism and local businesses. It now stands as an inspiring model of how cities can put people and nature above cars, showing that when life quality comes first, cities truly flourish. Triglav, the sacred peak of Slovenian identity. One of the most meaningful parts of Slovenian national pride comes from the deep bond between people and nature, symbolized by Mount Triglav, rising to 864 meters above sea level. It is not only the highest mountain in Slovenia, but also a powerful symbol of the nation, appearing on both the coat of arms and the national flag. A well-known belief says that every Slovenian should climb Triglav at least once in their life. Those who haven't are often teased as not being true Slovenians yet. This tradition has helped shape a strong outdoor culture, a love for hiking and mountaineering, and deep respect for the natural world. It reflects Slovenia's identity as the green heart of Europe and as a nation of mountain lovers who share a collective admiration for their sacred peak, Triglav. The world's biggest bee-loving country. Slovenia is known worldwide as the most bee-loving nation, a title officially recognized by both the Guinness World Records and the European Union. With more than 5 beekeepers for every 1,000 residents, it is the only EU country to reach this ratio. In fact, about 1 in every 200 Slovenians keeps bees not only to produce honey, but also as part of their culture and identity. For Slovenians, bees are not just insects, but symbols of balance between people and nature. Children begin learning about bees and their role in the ecosystem from the first grade. Across the countryside, you can see colorful bee houses decorated with hand-painted panels showing historical, religious, or folk themes. This art form, called Panjska končnica, has existed since the 18th century. Slovenian honey, especially chestnut honey from the Karst region, is famous for its rich flavor and quality. It can sell for as much as $250 per kilogram and is protected under the EU's PDO certification. Many visitors buy it not only for its taste, but as a meaningful gift symbolizing purity and respect for nature. Slovenia also created World Bee Day, celebrated globally on May 20th, after being recognized by the United Nations. On this day, Slovenians hold festivals where people dress as bees, learn how to make beeswax products, and enjoy homemade honey cakes prepared by local families. Do you know any other country that loves bees as much as Slovenia? Comment your guess below. The Slovenian coffee ritual. In Slovenia, coffee is not just a drink. It is a daily ritual that reflects connection and culture. Most Slovenians begin their mornings with the smell of a fresh cup of kava. The country ranks among the top in Europe for the number of coffee shops per person. However, you rarely see people working on laptops in cafes. Coffee here is meant for conversation and relaxation. In Ljubljana, rows of coffee shops line the banks of the Ljubljanica River. Locals can sit for hours sipping a small espresso and chatting with friends. On average, people drink 4 to 5 cups of coffee each day, taking their time to enjoy every sip. Instead of saying good morning, Slovenians often greet each other with greva na kavo, which means, shall we go for coffee? Many cafes are set in historic libraries, art museums, or on rooftops overlooking ancient castles. For travelers who love the sophistication of Vienna or the charm of Rome, Slovenia offers a relaxed and genuine alternative. So, if you ever visit, how would you like to start your day with coffee by the river, inside a centuries-old library, or beneath the shadow of a castle? Culinary traditions. If food is an art, Slovenia is a gallery filled with tradition and creativity. Imagine sitting beside Lake Bled and tasting patika, the iconic rolled walnut pastry with its elegant spiral layers. Recognized by UNESCO as a cultural symbol of Slovenian heritage, each slice is a masterpiece of flavor and craftsmanship. Another culinary treasure is idrajski žlikrofi, small dumplings shaped like little hats. These delicate creations are protected as a regional specialty by the European Union. They are filled with savory ingredients, wrapped in a thin dough and served with melted butter. a simple dish that surprises many visitors with its depth of taste. For dessert lovers, prekmurska gibanica is a must-try. This layered cake from northeastern Slovenia combines apples, walnuts, cheese, and poppy seeds in perfect harmony, each layer offering a different taste and texture. To end a meal in true Slovenian style, try bavški cheese with Tiran wine, both from the karst region. The cheese, made from pure sheep's milk, has a rich flavor that pairs beautifully with the deep, mineral notes of the local red wine. For anyone who values fine, authentic cuisine, Slovenia is a culinary paradise waiting to be explored. 2 seasons in 1 day in Slovenia. The most geographically impossible aspect of Slovenia is its rare ability to let visitors experience 2 completely opposite climate activities in a single day: skiing down snowy mountain slopes in the morning and swimming in warm seawaters by afternoon. This sounds like something from a travel fantasy, but it's absolutely real and happens regularly. This remarkable contrast exists because of Slovenia's incredibly compact size, just about 20,000 square kilometers. Combined with its strategic location at the crossroads of 4 major European geographical regions, the majestic Alps to the north, the Pannonian Basin to the east, the Mediterranean region to the southwest, and the mysterious Dinaric Mountains to the southeast. This unique geography means that on early spring or late autumn days, and sometimes even during winter months, adventurous travelers can start their morning at one of Slovenia's famous alpine ski resorts, such as Kranjska Gora or Vogel. After enjoying thrilling downhill runs on pristine snowy slopes, surrounded by peaks that look like they belong in a postcard, a scenic drive of just 1 to 2 hours will transport you to a completely different world. Although Slovenia's Adriatic coastline stretches for only 46 kilometers, it's home to absolutely charming seaside towns like Piran, which looks like it was lifted directly from a Venetian painting. Here, you can completely switch atmospheres and dive into milder seawaters, or simply relax on ancient stone terraces and bask in Mediterranean sunshine while sipping local wine and watching fishing boats return with their daily catch. This seamless transition from cold alpine air filled with the scent of pine trees to warm Mediterranean breezes carrying the salt of the sea is what makes Slovenia truly extraordinary. It's like having access to multiple countries and climates within a space smaller than most American states. Castles and architectural heritage. In Slovenia, a country roughly the size of New Jersey, there are over 500 castles, manor houses, and ancient fortresses scattered across the landscape, meaning there's approximately 1 castle for every 25 square miles. This incredible density of medieval architecture creates a landscape that feels like stepping into a living fairy tale. One absolute standout is Prijama Castle, built directly into a towering rock face that soars over 400 feet into the sky. This was the real fortress home of the knight Erazem Luger, known throughout history as Slovenia's Robin Hood, with secret passages running through the mountain itself and hidden exits that allowed the knight to escape even during lengthy sieges. It remains the only castle in Europe built within a completely intact natural cave system. If you want something truly unique and romantic, visit Odečeč Castle, the only castle in Slovenia built on a small island in the middle of the Krka River. Today it has been transformed into a luxury hotel where you can sleep in rooms once occupied by 15th century nobility, waking up to the gentle sound of birds singing and water flowing around your private island retreat. Slovenians take tremendous pride in their architectural heritage and often host weddings in these ancient castles. The country offers more than just tours, with castles like Grad Odeček and Bled Castle providing complete royal wedding packages. Brides arrive in horse-drawn carriages decorated with flowers. Grooms don noble attire that would make medieval kings jealous. And together they exchange vows in marble throne rooms where royal balls were held 300 years ago. Surrounded by flickering candlelight and resonating classical music, couples step into their own real-life fairy tale. Idrija lace-making tradition. In the historic town of Idrija, famous for housing one of the world's largest mercury mines, an exquisite handicraft emerged that has been recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage, the ancient art of bobbin lace-making. This tradition originated with the wives of mercury miners, who created these incredibly delicate lace pieces to earn desperately needed extra income for their families during the harsh winter months when mining work was limited. Udrija lace is world famous for its characteristic patterns and extraordinarily complex techniques that have been passed down through many generations of women, each adding their own subtle innovations while preserving the essential traditional methods. The intricate geometric patterns and floral motifs require incredible skill, patience, and artistic vision that can take years to master. Today, the town still maintains a dedicated lace school where these traditional techniques are carefully taught to preserve this precious heritage for future generations. Master lace makers, many of them elderly women who learned from their grandmothers, pass on not just the technical skills but the cultural stories and meanings behind each pattern and design. These lace products aren't just decorative items or tourist souvenirs. They represent the patience, incredible dexterity, an enduring spirit of Slovenian women who created extraordinary beauty out of challenging economic circumstances. Each piece tells a story of resilience, creativity, and the determination to find beauty and meaning even in the most difficult times. Forest bathing for healing among the elderly. When you hear the word bathing, your mind probably jumps to ocean waves, bubble baths, or refreshing swimming pools. But for Slovenians, forest bathing, or gozna kopel as they call it, represents a completely different and profoundly healing experience that's becoming recognized worldwide as revolutionary wellness therapy. The Slovenian government has made gozna kopel an official part of its national wellness tourism program. Especially designed for older adults and international visitors seeking authentic nature-based healing experiences that go far beyond typical spa treatments or resort amenities. Gozna kopel means forest bathing in Slovenian, a concept that originated in Japan as Shinrin Yoku but has been adapted and embraced by Slovenians as part of their everyday lifestyle. You don't need fancy spas, expensive resorts, or complicated equipment. The practice involves slow, mindful walks through pristine forests, deep breathing exercises that fill your lungs with clean mountain air, listening carefully to bird songs and rustling leaves, touching the rough bark of ancient trees, and meditating peacefully on soft moss beds. This is a deeply respectful and silent ritual that represents the complete opposite of loud, party-focused beach culture found in places like France or Spain. It's about reconnecting with nature in its purest form and allowing the forest to heal both your body and mind through simple presence and mindful attention. Slovenia is one of Europe's most heavily forested countries, with nearly 60% of its total land covered by pristine forests. That's approximately 1.2 million hectares of forest, meaning each Slovenian citizen theoretically owns about 8 trees. Towns like Kočevje and Bohinj even offer professionally guided forest bathing tours, where visitors learn to pause completely, listen to wind moving through leaves, smell the rich earth and pine needles, and even write emotional reflection journals while sitting quietly among centuries-old trees. These 15 mind-blowing facts reveal why Slovenia truly deserves recognition as one of Europe's most extraordinary hidden gems. From dragons living in underground caves to wedding traditions that test your physical strength. From a capital city that banned cars to create urban paradise, to forest bathing that heals your soul. Slovenia defies every expectation and challenges everything you thought you knew about European travel. This small alpine country proves that size doesn't determine significance. In a space smaller than New Jersey, Slovenia offers experiences you literally cannot find anywhere else on Earth, skiing and swimming in the same day, sleeping in island castles, participating in 1,000-year-old festivals, and discovering why love is literally embedded in the country's name. Which of these 15 facts surprised you the most? Are you ready to experience real-life dragons? Carry your future spouse up 99 stone steps, or try forest bathing in pristine alpine wilderness. Let me know in the comments which Slovenian adventure you'd want to try first, and if you're planning a trip to Slovenia. Share your travel plans below. If you found these facts are incredible, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'm constantly discovering hidden gems like Slovenia that will completely change how you see the world. Next week, I'll be revealing another country with secrets that will blow your mind. Until next time, keep exploring and keep discovering the extraordinary and the unexpected. The Find a Wife Festival. in the remote mountain village of Crna Trava, located in southern Serbia near the border with Bulgaria. Residents face not only freezing winters, but also another kind of emptiness, the absence of young women. Today, the village is home to around 400 people, most of them single men between the ages of 30 and 60. Once known as the birthplace of Serbia's best builders, since many of its men worked in construction across the Balkans, Crna Trava has gained attention for a very different reason. It now hosts the Crna Trava Find a Wife Festival, an event where every woman who visits is treated like royalty and may find herself being courted by several men at the same time. During the festival, local men proudly display their skills in cooking, folk dancing, wood chopping, horseback riding, and even tent building. The atmosphere feels like a movie scene of romance, but with a distinct Balkan flavor. The man who stands out might receive a traditional scarf from the woman he hopes to impress, and, if she's interested, may be invited to her home for dinner to get to know each other better. Women from other parts of the region, including Romania, Ukraine, and even Western Europe, are warmly encouraged to join. They are offered free lodging, traditional food, and a chance to experience the lighthearted yet respectful spirit of this unusual event. Newlyweds start their life in a horse stable. While many couples dream of spending their honeymoon in places like Paris or the Maldives, in some rural parts of Serbia, newlyweds begin their life together in a horse stable. This is not because of money or unusual habits, but because it is an old tradition filled with deep cultural and spiritual meaning. According to local belief, after the wedding, the bride and groom spend a short time in the stable. It represents their bond with nature and marks a new start in their journey together. The quiet, private space allows them to focus on each other and build the foundation for their marriage. Many Serbians believe that this time brings good fortune and peace to the relationship. Although this practice is no longer common everywhere, it still survives in some countryside communities. It shows the strong Serbian respect for nature and the harmony between people and their surroundings. In today's modern world, as many old customs fade away, traditions like this hold even greater meaning and deserve to be preserved. If you want to discover more unique traditions from around the world, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any fascinating journeys where every tradition and celebration holds a magical story waiting for you to explore. A competition just for brides. If you thought wedding dresses were only for walking slowly down church aisles, Serbia is about to change your mind completely. In the blazing summer heat of Belgrade, an event takes place that's unlike anything else in the world. The bride race. Picture this scene. Over 100 women, whether married, engaged, or completely single, all wearing full wedding gowns, lacing up sneakers, and preparing to sprint 150 meters as fast as they possibly can. It's a sight that has to be seen to be believed. Flowing white dresses, crowds cheering, occasional tumbles, and, finally, a beaming bride crossing the finish line in triumph. The winner doesn't just get bragging rights. They receive a free honeymoon trip, wedding vouchers, luxury cosmetics, and even designer wedding dresses from top local brands. The prizes are substantial enough that women train for this event like serious athletes. This race began in the early 2000s as a way to promote healthy living and optimism. But it quickly evolved into a must-see summer tradition that attracts international tourists. Many visitors from other countries have joined in, unable to resist the quirky charm of this completely unique event. Serbian women. Did you know Serbian women have become so captivating that there's an actual festival dedicated to finding wives? The women have quietly become a fascination for men across Europe. Their charm lies in a rare mix of Eastern European grace and Mediterranean confidence. The first thing people notice is their remarkable appearance. Most Serbian women stand around 5 feet 7 inches, taller than the global average. They often have fair, rosy skin, defined facial features, deep eyes, and thick, natural hair. A Serbian woman can share a meal with you, discuss world events, and help make major life decisions. This balance of strength and warmth is why many foreign men seek partners in Serbia, often even joining traditional matchmaking gatherings. What do you think about these women? Would you like to learn more about them? If so, type number 1 below, and we'll share some tips on how to win their hearts. The floating village, where no one touches the ground, hidden in the lush hills of eastern Serbia, is something that sounds like it belongs in a fantasy novel. In the village of Valjevo, people don't walk on the ground like the rest of the world. Instead, they move, dance, and even play soccer on wooden stilts over 6 feet tall. These aren't circus stilts or novelty items. They're handcrafted from sturdy oak wood, with leather or fabric straps to secure the feet. Each family member gets a custom-made pair, like personalized footwear designed specifically for their height and walking style. Despite being 6 to 8 pounds each, they're lightweight enough for adults to dance for hours. This tradition began centuries ago when residents needed to cross streams and muddy fields while herding livestock. The stilts kept their feet dry and protected them from insects and snakes. What started as a survival tool gradually became part of their cultural identity. Today, children learn to walk on stilts in elementary school, just like American kids learn to swim or ride bicycles. During traditional festivals, villagers organize sky parades where hundreds of people walk on stilts, dancing in circles to folk music. It creates a scene that looks like a floating street performance. But here's the most incredible part. Teenagers actually play soccer on stilts. Imagine trying to dribble a ball, run, and maintain balance all while standing 6 feet above the ground. It's a spectacle that could impress even professional athletes. The triple kiss, Serbia's warm and sacred greeting. Social greetings in Serbia are among the most unique and sometimes confusing traditions for visitors. One of the most notable differences from other countries is the triple kiss, a traditional way of greeting with 3 kisses on the cheeks. This custom is not just a friendly act but holds deep religious meaning, symbolizing the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the Serbian Orthodox faith. What surprises many foreigners is that this greeting is not limited to family or close friends. It is a common and polite way to say hello among acquaintances, including in formal or work situations, and yes, even between 2 men. When greeting, Serbians usually come close, share a light hug, and exchange 3 gentle kisses on the cheeks in the order of left, right, left, often with warm and genuine eye contact. This open and friendly gesture reflects the heartfelt nature of the Balkan people, helping to create an instant sense of comfort and connection. Yet for outsiders, this level of closeness and sincerity can feel unfamiliar, leaving them momentarily unsure of how to react to such a warm and respectful greeting. And speaking of friendly gestures, did you know there's a country where smiling in public was once a legal requirement? People were expected to keep a cheerful face at all times, except in hospitals or at funerals. Curious to know where that is? Click the link at the top of the screen or check the pinned comment below. And don't forget to come back, because in the next part I'll reveal fact about Serbian names that you may have never heard before. The River of 1 Year. Serbia hides countless natural wonders, but one of its most unique treasures will make you question everything you think you know about rivers. The Vrelo River is renowned as one of the shortest rivers in the world, stretching a mere 365 meters in total length. This fascinating coincidence has earned it an affectionate nickname from locals, Godina, which means year in Serbian. The name fits perfectly, as if the river symbolizes the full cycle of a year, beginning and ending within a remarkably brief journey. Despite its modest length, the Vrelo possesses all the defining characteristics of a true river. It has a source originating from a steep mountain slope, forming a crystal-clear waterfall. It has its own small dock and even a bridge crossing it. Within just a few hundred meters, its emerald waters complete their entire course, merging directly into the majestic Drina River. Most people think rivers need to be long, winding waterways that cross multiple landscapes. But this tiny river proves that sometimes the greatest wonders come in the smallest forms. Visitors often spend more time walking to the Vrelo than the river itself takes to complete its entire journey from source to mouth. Twins are an everyday thing in Česteg. In the peaceful fields of Vojvodina, northern Serbia, there's a small village called Česteg that defies statistical probability in the most extraordinary way. With fewer than 2,000 residents, this village is simultaneously home to over 20 pairs of twins. To put this in perspective, the global average for twin births is about 12 pairs per 1,000 births, or roughly 2%. Česteg's twin rate is 8 to 10 times higher than normal, far exceeding the average for Serbia, Europe, or anywhere else in the world. Locals have embraced their unique status, calling it the Twin Village. You can easily encounter two identical people on the same street, sitting in the same classroom, or working at the same grocery store. It's become so common that residents barely notice anymore, but visitors are consistently amazed. No one knows exactly why this phenomenon occurs. Some theories suggest it's the mineral-rich groundwater that flows beneath the village. Others believe it's special genetics from this long-standing farming community that has remained relatively isolated for generations. Some locals joke that it's something in the goat's milk. Whatever the scientific explanation, Chesteg has turned this mystery into a celebration. During summer, the village hosts Twin Day Festival, where twins from across the region gather to dress alike and participate in traditional games like tug-of-war, pie-eating contests, and folk dancing. The festival has become a point of pride and a genuine tourist attraction, proving that sometimes the most unusual characteristics can become a community's greatest strength. Christmas and New Year in Serbia. Serbia, a nation where most people practice the Orthodox faith, celebrates the holiday season in a way that differs from Western customs. Unlike many countries, Serbians do not celebrate Christmas in December but on January 7th. This distinction exists because the Serbian Orthodox Church continues to follow the old Julian calendar to mark religious holidays. For Serbians, Christmas is a sacred and family-centered celebration. It is a time for relatives to come together at home, share traditional meals after a period of fasting, and take part in old customs such as burning an oak branch, which symbolizes warmth, happiness, and prosperity. Yet the most joyful and public part of the season comes on New Year's Eve. During the socialist era, when the government sought to make holidays more secular, the tradition of decorating evergreen trees and exchanging gifts was moved to the New Year celebration. As a result, instead of a Christmas tree, Serbians decorate a New Year tree. New Year's Eve in Serbia is famous for its energy and excitement. Streets come alive with music, festivals, and public concerts. While parties fill cities and squares across the country, visitors from all over the world join the celebration, making Serbia's holiday season one of the most spirited and distinctive in Europe. The village where villas cost 14 times less. You can actually buy a two-story villa in Serbia for the price of a mid-range sedan like a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord. In Janis, a residential project in southern Serbia that was once expected to become a vacation paradise. Spacious villas ranging from 2,500 to 3,200 square feet are currently listed for just $20,000 to $35,000. To put this in perspective, similar villas in developed countries like the United States, Canada, or Germany typically cost between $250,000 and $500,000. That's up to 14 times cheaper. The Janis project started with enormous ambitions. Developers planned over 40 two-story villas with Mediterranean Balkan design, private gardens, garages, wrought iron fences, and just a 30-minute drive from the city of Niš. The master plan included a spa center, public pool, and cultural area that would attract both residents and tourists. But the dream collapsed during the economic crisis of the 2000s. Funding dried up, the real estate market froze, and construction stopped. Many villas are 90% finished, some even fully furnished, but no one ever moved in. Over time, weeds grew through stone tiles, roof tiles fell, and broken glass sparkled in the sunlight. What was once a symbol of hope and prosperity became a silent village of empty villas, frozen in time. These properties remain in legal limbo, which explains the incredibly low prices. For adventurous investors willing to navigate complex legal processes, it represents an unprecedented opportunity. For everyone else, it's a haunting reminder of how quickly dreams can become ghost towns. Even though the villas are super cheap, would you be brave enough to live here? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The last eco-village in Europe. Gostuša isn't a polished tourist destination designed for Instagram photos. It's like a crack in the modern world, a place where time stopped centuries ago and never resumed. With over 150 ancient houses, the entire village is constructed from mountain stone, clay, and raw wood using techniques that haven't changed in hundreds of years. European architecture experts have designated Gostuša as an open-air living museum of traditional Balkan eco-architecture. What makes this extraordinary is that Gostuša residents still live exactly as their ancestors did centuries ago. They raise sheep, grow vegetables, make cheese by hand, and bake bread on wood-fired stoves. There's no pretense or performance for tourists. This is simply how life continues in this remote mountain community. Unlike commercialized heritage sites, Gostusha offers something increasingly rare in our connected world: complete disconnection. No Wi-Fi, no cell phone service, no modern conveniences. Just bird songs, mountain streams, and absolute peace. International tourists, especially from the United States and Northern Europe, travel here specifically to experience life without technology. They come to remember what silence sounds like and what it feels like to live according to natural rhythms rather than digital notifications. Lonely Planet recognized Gostusha among Europe's 10 most unique eco-villages, describing it as a village built from memories. It represents the last authentic example of how European communities lived for thousands of years before industrialization changed everything. For visitors, spending time in Gostusha isn't just tourism. It's time travel to a way of life that most people thought had disappeared forever. The city that never sleeps. Belgrade, Serbia's capital, has earned worldwide recognition not just for its rich history, but for its reputation as one of the most vibrant nightlife cities on the planet. Often described as the city where the party never sleeps, Belgrade has transformed nighttime entertainment into a true art form and defining characteristic of its urban identity. The most iconic feature of Belgrade's nightlife is the splavovi, floating clubs and bars built on large river barges anchored along the Danube and Sava riverbanks. These aren't simple boats with music. They're sophisticated entertainment venues where every genre of music plays non-stop until dawn, creating a unique party atmosphere that exists nowhere else in the world. Beyond the river, the Savamala district represents Belgrade's modern transformation. Once an industrial area, it has evolved into a contemporary hub of art and nightlife, filled with hip-hop bars, underground electronic music venues, and creative spaces that attract young people from across Europe. For visitors seeking traditional experiences, the historic Bohemian quarter of Skadarlija offers cozy Serbian taverns where you can enjoy rakia and live folk music in an atmosphere brimming with warmth and nostalgia. What makes Belgrade's nightlife truly special is the combination of diverse venues, from elegant river clubs to laid-back traditional taverns. Combined with the genuine hospitality of Serbian people, the result is a free-spirited, unforgettable experience that creates lifelong memories. Many international visitors report that Belgrade's nightlife exceeds their expectations so dramatically that they extend their trips or plan return visits specifically to experience it again. Serbia and the forgotten origins of the clock. Many Serbians and researchers believe that Serbia was the birthplace of the first mechanical clocks, particularly wall and wrist timepieces, predating Switzerland's renowned watchmaking industry by nearly 2 centuries. According to historical evidence and local legends, the craft of clockmaking flourished in medieval Serbia long before it became a global hallmark of Swiss precision. While Switzerland is celebrated worldwide for its perfection and large-scale production, Serbian clockmaking in its early form was handcrafted and deeply artistic. These early timepieces were created by monks and local artisans rather than factories. They represented not just functional objects, but works of art that combined technical innovation with spiritual symbolism. Many were created for monasteries and churches, where precise timekeeping was essential for religious observances. While this claim remains a subject of historical debate and is difficult to fully verify due to limited surviving records from medieval times, it continues to stand as a unique and proud element of Serbian heritage. It reflects the ingenuity and technical creativity of Balkan people, whose craftsmanship and innovation reached remarkable heights centuries before the Industrial Revolution. Whether or not Serbia can definitively claim to be the birthplace of mechanical clocks, the tradition of skilled craftsmanship and technical innovation remains deeply embedded in Serbian culture today. A foodie paradise. Serbian cuisine might not be as internationally famous as French or as colorful as Thai food, but it represents something equally valuable: hearty, sincere flavors that reflect the soul of the people who created them. Serbian food is the delicious result of centuries of cultural blending. You'll find Turkish refinement, Balkan richness, and influences from Hungary, Greece, and Austria all combined in ways that shouldn't work but absolutely do. Imagine Austrian-style beef stew meeting Hungarian sausage, seasoned Greek-style and grilled using Turkish techniques. That's a typical Serbian dish. One absolute must-try is cevapi minced beef and lamb that's been marinated and grilled over charcoal, served with lapinja bread, raw onions, and sour cream. Its simple ingredients elevated through technique and tradition into something extraordinary. Don't miss sarma either. Cabbage leaves stuffed with meat and rice, slow-cooked in clay pots. This dish appears at every family meal and holiday celebration, representing the heart of Serbian home cooking. Here's a fun fact that surprises most visitors. Serbia is one of the world's top plum producers, which makes rakija the national spirit. This clear brandy ranges from 40 to 60% alcohol and is traditionally served as a welcome gesture to guests. With over 70,000 hectares of vineyards, Serbia ranks among the world's top 15 wine producers. This is a fact that many American and European visitors discover only after arriving, making wine tasting an unexpected highlight of their Serbian experience. These facts represent just the beginning of what makes Serbia one of Europe's most fascinating and misunderstood countries. What strikes me most about these discoveries is how they reveal the incredible diversity of human experience that exists in places most people never think to explore. Serbia proves that the most extraordinary stories often come from the most unexpected places. If these facts have sparked your curiosity about Serbia, you're not alone. This country is quietly becoming one of Europe's most interesting destinations for travelers who want to experience something genuinely different. What surprised you most about these Serbian facts? Have you ever experienced anything similar in your own travels? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing about your own discoveries. If you enjoyed learning about countries' hidden wonders, make sure you're subscribed because next week I'm revealing the most incredible facts about another country that will completely change how you see that region. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Serbia's most amazing secrets. Until next time, keep exploring the unexpected. Extramarital affairs are quietly accepted by society. In France, cheating isn't the relationship destroyer you might think it is. Since 1975, French law has decriminalized adultery, and divorces rarely use affairs as the main reason for separation. The most famous example is former President François Mitterrand, who maintained two families for decades. His wife and his mistress both attended his funeral, and the French still admired him. When the press tried to dig deeper, he simply said, "Personal life does not belong to the press." According to a survey, nearly 50% of French people admitted to having cheated at least once. French women have the second highest cheating rate in Europe, just after Germany. This isn't scandalous behavior. It's seen as a mature view of relationships where love doesn't mean ownership. In intellectual circles in Paris and Lyon, many couples quietly accept open relationships as long as there's respect and shared family responsibility. Discreet dating apps for married people operate smoothly without causing the social upheaval they would in other countries. Not wearing clothes is a form of respect. In southern France, especially in Provence and along the coast, body freedom isn't cultural shock. It's a respected and highly organized lifestyle. France now has over 460 legal naturist resorts, including entire villages, seaside resorts, and family camps. At famous spas like certain thermal baths, total liberation in communal saunas is mandatory. If you try to wear a swimsuit, you'll be reminded to remove it. Not because it's indecent, but because it violates the natural purity culture of the space. To prevent abuse, naturist resorts have extremely strict rules. Any sexual, provocative, or inappropriate behavior results in immediate expulsion with no refund. This policy is enforced by most naturist resorts. The philosophy is about connecting with nature and erasing body discrimination, not about anything sexual. Respect or too weird? Comment yes if you try it, no if never. The unspoken rules for winning over a French woman. Forget everything you've seen in Hollywood movies about French romance. If you think French women want to be swept off their feet with cheesy compliments and grand gestures, you're dead wrong. French women don't like to be won over. They want to be discovered and admired through intellectual connection. According to a 2023 survey, most French women aged 25 to 40 said they don't like obvious pursuit but prefer natural, intellectual, and slightly challenging interactions. This means no cliches like, "You're so beautiful," or "I love your smile." Instead, ask about the book she's reading or bring up a current event. Love in France is a dance of the